read.
Vera Frankel's latest video, Stories from the Front and Back, is a continuation of this Toronto artist's concern with stereotype formats used as a framing device. Within these frames, Frankel examines the ambiguous nature of language, especially the myth in ordinary language, is the ultimate indicator of both lies and truth. In an earlier video, No Solution, a suspense thriller, Frankel explored the format of a mystery thriller. In Stories from the Front and Back, the frame is storytelling itself. Through the interaction of various stories told by different people, Frankel produces a collage of experiences. It appears Frankel believes that language, be it the language of art, painting, poetry, can be recognized as a condition of our concepts about the world. Rather than reflecting a higher order and therein finding truth and reality, language solidifies itself into stereotypes. It is by these stereotypes that we discern truth or falsehood. The stereotype format, therefore, because it is a product of language, is ambiguous. Yet, in Frankel's work, the stereotype is not merely broken down and then discarded. The stereotypical story is a linear movement in time with anticipation that satisfaction will occur simultaneously with the conclusion of this movement. In Frankel's terminology, this linear movement can be considered a time frame or format. In Stories from the Front and Back, Frankel questions the validity of this format by cutting a story at a certain point and following it by another, which in turn is also cut. The point at which this editing occurs is often time cliche. The cuts in the story are comparable to a soap opera mentality. Certain tales built up to a climax and then are stopped in order to ensure continued viewing. Interspersed amongst these stories is Frankel's own commentary. She begins the film by saying that this is a story about Vancouver artists. After having attended a party, she discovered, much to her amazement, that Vancouver artists were reluctant to get back to work. At one point, she postulates that perhaps artists could deal with the rain better by telling each other stories. However, Frankel warns in omniscient fashion that one should listen to these artists' stories, but not take them seriously. The stories, it has then stated, are being retold for the videotape by the artists. Certain noises from the party are introduced at various points throughout the film. It appears that Frankel is indicating to the viewers that this tendency towards storytelling at Vancouver artist parties could be merely an act for the sake of her camera. Clues such as the party noises might be valid, but are not necessarily to be considered so. The fact that we are merely watching the video is reinforced both by editing and the mise en scène. The storytellers are filmed from the front and appear to be commentary fashion. However, they are also viewed from behind, and one can only see them addressing an empty room. Certain panning shots occur. The camera pans a row of empty seats and finally comes to rest on one person, who is doing the storytelling. Because the storytellers are in commentary roles, one could conclude that they are relating real past experiences. Indeed, at one point near the end of the film, the viewer discovers that many of the storytellers have told their story to Frankel at some point in the past. However, two of the players find difficulty in relating their story. Are they telling the truth, or just fabricating a tale? One never knows for certain, and this uncertainty